we will learn about dividing complex numbers. Okay, so it is a little bit tricky, but if you have already mastered the other concept, you will find it easy over here. So let's work on these problems. Okay, so it says how we divide. Now earlier I taught you how to add two complex number, then how to subtract two complex number, multiply, and the last part is divide over here. So first of all, it says 3 plus 7i divided by 2, 8i. So what you do is in each and every problem, you multiply, listen carefully, you multiply and divide by the conjugate of the denominator. So conjugate is what? If you remember, we have learned about conjugate earlier. If in case you have any number 2 minus 3i, conjugate of this is what? 2 plus 3i. What I did over here, I look at the sign in front of the negative imaginary number, I change it. Let's take an example. If I have 5i, so what is the conjugate of this? Negative 5i. Let's take an example. If I have 6, what is the conjugate of this? It will be still 6 because it is not an imaginary number. So we only change is what? The sign of the imaginary number. So in this case, I have in the denominator, again the rule is I am multiplying, dividing by the conjugate of the denominator. Nothing to worry about a numerator, only denominator. So right now I have positive 8i, so I will multiply and divide by negative 8i. Now think like this. See, if I will, this is negative 8i, negative 8i. If I will cancel them, what I am left over with? It's just 1 over here. So this means is a simply 1. It will not affect my question over here. So now after this, how I multiply this is I will multiply my numerator with numerator, denominator with what? Denominator. So your next step will look like this: negative 8i, and this is your 3 plus 7i. Okay, so let me write it clearly. Okay, this is your 3 plus 7i, and divided by what? 8 times 8 is what? First of all, there's a negative 8 and positive 8. It will give me negative 64. I times I gives me what? I square. Now after this, you remember earlier we learnt about how to multiply two complex numbers. So what I'm doing is I'm just using the same approach over here. Hey, I just zoomed in. Okay, so what I will do is I will multiply this negative 8i, I will multiply with 3, and then I will multiply negative 8i with 7 also. So negative 8 times 3 gives me negative 24i. Now as I told you earlier, negative sign with positive sign gives me what? Minus sign over here. 8 times 7 is 56. I times I is what? I square. I times I is what? It is yours I square. And divided by negative 64 I square. Let's keep on going. So negative 24. Don't try to cancel something right now. Now what is the value of I square? It is yours negative 1. Similarly in the denominator, I forgot to put square over here. It will be what? Negative 1 over here. Here you go. Now I'm writing remaining steps over here for you. So it is yours negative 24i. This will change to plus 56 and divided by plus 64. So this is my answer. Now this is one of your answer, or your answer should be in the form of a plus bi. So I will write all the steps. So first of all, what I'm doing is I'm separating the denominator. Okay, now at this place I need you to use your calculator to you can simplify in the simplest form. Use the over here, this says negative 24. Now do forget about the I is still over there, but this calculator cannot take, so we will not take I will not write I over here. What is my answer? Negative 3 over 8. So this step will be what? It will be negative 3 over 8, and there is an I already over here. Do not forget about this. Plus, now it is your 56 over 64. So let's go ahead and do this also. 56, because we have to write in the simplest form also. 64. What is the answer? 7 over 8. So this is my answer. Now you remember I said we have to write in the form of a plus bi. So a plus bi will mean, this means what? Real number come first and your imaginary number goes at the back. So this is your final answer for this problem. 7 over 8 minus 3i over 8. This is the answer for question number 1. Okay, now let's look at question number 2. It kind of look a little bit hard also over here. Instead of one term in the denominator, there are two terms over here. It's a binomial. So what I will do is, first of all, I will change the color of my ink. Let's take a green color over here. It says 5 plus I divided by 2 minus 4I. Now you remember I will multiply and divide by what? The conjugate of the denominator. So you can see over here, if I have 2 minus 3I, what is the conjugate? 2 plus 3I. So in this case, my denominator says 2 minus 4I. So I will multiply and divide by what? 2 plus 4I. So I'm multiplying over here 2 plus 4I, and this is what? 2 plus 4I. After this, we are multiplying like we earlier multiplied two complex numbers. So in the numerator will be like this, 5 plus I divided by 2 plus 4I. And now in the denominator, I will give you a shortcut over here. I do not want you to write increase the number of steps, so I will give you a shortcut over here. It is not shortcut, it's a formula for an, so we are using just the formula for the denominator. Now important thing to keep in mind is in the denominator, oops, in the numerator is still not clear over here. Let me rewrite it. 2 plus 4I. Okay, in the denominator, if you will pay attention, it says 2 minus 4I, and this one is the same, but only sign is different. It says 2 plus 4I. See, 2 minus plus 4I, 4I. So what you do is you write your step like this, always put a minus sign over here, and 4I square. That's the only thing you need to do in the denominator. Now, how I got this, I will just explain this to you. I believe I have explained this earlier also, but one more time I will explain you. There is a formula. Formula says if you have a minus b times a plus b, the formula says what? It says a square minus b square. There is no formula for a square plus b square. So in this case, if you look over here, this is your a minus sign, b, this is a b. Okay, parentheses a plus b, same thing. My answer is a square minus b square. I took my a as 2, I put it square, put the minus sign, and b is my 4, I wrote it over here. So when you are doing this, your life will become a lot more easier. Otherwise, you will have lots of steps to work out. Okay, so let's keep going. Do smart work. Now, I always start with the denominator because otherwise you will forget your denominator. 2 times 2 is 4, minus sign. 4 times 4 is 16, and I times I is what? I square. Now in the numerator part, I will do the same method what I was doing earlier. Okay, so I'm multiplying 5 with 2 first of all. 5 times 2 is 10. There's a plus sign over here. Then I will multiply 5 with 4i. It will give me 20i plus I times 2 gives me what? 2i plus of this will give me 4i square. Let me rewrite it over here. It is your 4i square. Why it is 4i square? Because I multiply I with 4i, it will give me 4i square. So let's go to the next step. 10 plus 20i plus 2i. Now you know I square is negative 1. Negative 1 times 4 gives me what? Minus 4. And denominator part is 4, and it will give me negative 1. I'll multiply it, change to plus 16. Now all of the problem, whichever you will do like this, the denominator, both these will change to plus sign over. Always remember, that's it. So this is your 10 minus 4 is 6. This gives me 22i divided by what? 20. Now this was kind of super easy for us because we do not have to do right in the a plus in the form of a plus bi is already given to us. So my next step will be 6 over 20 plus 22i over 20. Now rest of the things my calculator can do for me. Only thing I have to type this in my calculator and it will give me the answer in what? In simplest form. So let's proceed over here. So this is a fraction over here, 6 divided by 20. So my answer is 3 over 10. This is in the simplest form. So I'll write it over here, 3 over 10 plus. This is your 11 over 10. And you can check in your calculator. This is the answer for this problem. I know it is a little bit lengthy when you divide two complex numbers, but once you know the concept how to multiply, it becomes easy for you. It will be same steps each and every time whenever you are dealing with problems related with division of two complex numbers. All right, let's look at this problem over here. Same thing, division. So what I will do is I will multiply by the conjugate. So 3 minus I. Remember the I part. So it will be what? Plus I. Okay. Now we are multiplying numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. Now in the denominator, pay attention. In that, okay, let's use this. Do the same steps only. So numerator, I will write it like this: 3 plus I. Now after this, when I will come to the denominator part over here, let me do this part. When I'm coming to the denominator part, it says 3 minus I, 3 plus I. Terms are same, only there is a minus and plus sign different. So what I told you, you write this is your a minus b times a plus b. So it will be a square minus b square. There you go. Now after this, what will happen over here is you will apply your rules of distributive property of multiplication. What is 5 times 3? 15. You do over here is your 5i. Again, I need to first of all do the denominator first. 3 times 3 is 9 minus I square. Then after this, what you do, you take your 5i, multiply with this. It will give you 15i plus 5i square. So if you are really paying attention, you will find that all of these steps are really same. Okay, so now let's try to keep on simplifying this. I know the middle two terms are like terms. Okay, and this is your 5, but this is your negative I. I square is what? Negative 1. Because of this negative 1, this will change to what? This will change to a negative 5 or minus 5. This sign will change to a minus 5. And in the denominator, it is a 9. But this is your I square is negative 1. So look, it will look like this to you. Alright, so 9 negative minus plus negative changes to plus. It will be changed to what? Plus sign. So next step is 15 plus this part over here. Well, how much is 20i? So sorry about that. Alright, 15 plus 20i. Okay, I think I'm supposed to do all the steps. I missed one step. First of all, 15 minus 5 gives me 10. And this gives me 20i. And in the denominator, as I mentioned this to you, this will change to a plus sign over here. That's your 10. So if we are writing in the form of a plus bi, look here, I usually say a plus bi, I'm writing like this. Okay, so it was your 10 over 10 plus 20i over 10. So 10 over 10 is what? 1. And this will give you what? Plus 2i. And this is your answer over here. Now you can see it looks in the form of a plus bi. So this is how we divide complex number. This is your classwork assignment on this concept.